Max Papley. Today we have Max Papley, ex-South Melbourne, Williamstown and Moorabbin footballer. Thanks, Mr. Papley, for taking my call. I hope you are well.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm pretty good. There's three conditions that we do this. One is that you call me Max. Right?
Yep. Oh, really?
Right. Two is that you're a Sydney Swan supporter.
Well, I am.
Oh, that's good. And number three is you've got me address where you can send a cheque to.
That's for payment.
Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Sorry, mate.
Is it okay if I ask you a few questions?
Of course it is, mate.
Excellent. Before you started at South Melbourne, where did you play?
Before I was at South Melbourne, I played at Moorabbin. And before then, I played with the Port Melbourne club when I was about 13 and 14.
That's pretty cool. I'm quite sure. Is it true that you were originally told you were too short for VFL football?
Yeah, that's right. You got good information, haven't you? When I went to South Melbourne Tech, the natural pathway from there was across to South Melbourne Fourths, and they played in a competition that included a few league clubs. But when I went over there to training, the first night the coach told me I was too small. He said, "Come back when you grow a bit." So,
That's pretty...
Turned out, mate, he did me a really big favour.
That's pretty cool. Bob Skilton won 3 Brownlow medals and 9 best and fairest. Was he the best player you play with or against?
Oh, yeah, easily. Yeah, he was... he had a skill level in those days that would blow your mind. Skill in those days wasn't as big a factor in the game as it is today.
In 1966, you won the best and fairest at South Melbourne. What position did you play?
In the centre mainly, mate. Some games at forward and some games at full forward.
Really? You also played for Victoria. How exciting was that?
Oh, that was sensational. I had one game for Vic down in Tassie. We played Tasmania and beat them. And the next game the next year was in Adelaide, playing against South Australia. And that was quite an experience. Playing on the Adelaide Oval with a mad lunatic Adelaide supporters over there. South Australian supporters.
That's funny. You played 59 games at South Melbourne and kicked 66 goals, but left for Williamstown in the old VFA days. Why?
Well, basically it was because they didn't keep their end of an agreement we had. Part of the agreement that I had to go to South Melbourne originally was I was coaching Moorabbin Cricket Club, and we just casually drew up an agreement that suggested that if Moorabbin were in the finals, it would take precedence over a Sydney practice match, for example. And for the first 4 years I was there, they said that's okay. And for the 5th year, they had a bit of a change of administration, mainly the CEO, and he informed me that part of the deal was now null and void. So I told him it's stuffed.
What success did you have at Williamstown?
Mate, I enjoyed playing footy wherever I played, but there was nothing like Williamstown. Unfortunately, they were a powerhouse in the VFA in those days, and they went down to second division, which meant the previous year they finished on the bottom. And that was the year, the following year was my first year. And we got to the grand final, but we were beaten in the grand final. And then the next year we won the grand final, which gave us promotion to First Division. And the following year in First Division, that year in First Division that we went up, we set all sorts of records. We finished on top and we played in the grand final, but unfortunately we were beaten in the grand final by Paran. That was year 3. The next year we finished about 8th, and the following year we finished 3rd. We got in First Division and finished 3rd. And that hurt enough of me by then, and we'd shifted to the country. I decided to tell them that enough was enough, so I had to find a new coach.
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Williamstown elevated you to Hall of Fame legend status in 2014. How was this?
That's probably the best award I've ever had in my life. To get that sort of recognition from a club like Williamstown, it just blew me away. Just fantastic.
That's pretty cool. You have had 3 grandsons play football, AFL football. How proud are you?
Very, mate. Very. But I'm just as proud as I've got other grandsons as well who well, 2 of them. Matthew was Ben Ross and Michael Ross's younger brother. He just didn't quite get the pathway opened up to him that he could have. He probably had more skill level than any of them. Tom's brother, William, he's going through the process at the moment, but with COVID and a few injuries he's had and some of the stupid rulings that they've put in place about he can't go to training at Gippsland Power because he technically lives in the metropolitan area and he lives in Bunyip. So it's been a really hard trot for him, but hopefully he'll get through it. And I think he's good enough. One of the recruiters that I know from Geelong was of the opinion that William was better at the same age than Tom. So he's had a couple of interviews with AFL clubs. So they're a bit interested in him. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But, yes, to answer your question, mate, I'm very proud of them.
You have been involved at Gippsland Power in the TAC for over 15 years. Who are the best players you have seen in this time?
Well, Scott Pendlebury came through at the time, early in the piece. He was part of the 2005 Gippsland Power Premiership team. Daisy Thomas was there. Jared Blair was there. Jared Blair, he's only a little fella, I think, as you probably know. He went to Collingwood as, I think he was pick 54 rookie. And he played over 100 games. I think he played 150 games. And in the role I played at Gippsland Power, every Sunday night I'd get calls from AFL recruiters asking me who would make the grade. And I used to love Jared Blair, the way he played. And I kept putting his name forward. But they kept telling me he was too small. But size doesn't really matter if you're good enough, mate. And he showed that he could do all that was required and didn't matter that he was small. And Tom's done all right too, and you wouldn't call him a big fella.
Last question. Tell us something most people wouldn't know about you.
Mostly, mate. That's why we came bush, to get everyone. What they wouldn't know about me. Oh, your dad would have known it, but I don't know whether your grandfather would have known it, but I don't know whether your dad would. My nickname, do you know what my nickname used to be?
What?
Bubbles.
Why is that?
Oh, I can't tell you that. I don't know. My auntie used to tell me. Apparently, my auntie gave it to me, and she said I used to blow bubbles all the time. Your grandfather used to say it was because I didn't stop farting. I used to fart all the time. But I don't know. That's not right either, mate.
Thank you for your time. I hope you keep safe, and we might want to catch up soon in another ground.
Thanks, mate. I'd love to see you again soon, and yeah, we will. When this is over, our families have got to get together again, and I look forward nothing more than to be able to do that, mate. Because the Papleys and the McGregors, there's a pretty tight bond there.
Thank you.